I swear to God, there's going to be some music here. I've been just trying to click the damn thing, so stand by. Sorry. Disembodied voice. Yeah, it's a spinning wheel of death here. That's what I'm looking at. All I wanted to do, there it is. There it is. That's what I wanted, I think. Just pretend that it's playing. You know, you can all hear it in your head. I think I need to reboot my computer. Hang on. It won't go anywhere. I promise. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com, where I will be with my friends at Impact Power Sports at the Hillbilly Show in Grand Rapids, or the outdoor show or something like that, hunting, fishing, you know, all that stuff. Saturday the 15th, I will be there. You can go to their website, impactpowersportsmi.com, for golf carts, for motorcycles, e-bikes, you name it, they have it all at Impact Power Sports on 14 Mile Road in beautiful Rockford, Michigan. Stand by. Fresh cup of coffee. Darla was already instigating something with Bruce. Megan says she's ready to start some shit. LOL. Yeah. Hello, pot, meat, kettle. Megan is on like serious probation. She nearly destroyed the entire Patreon episode on Friday. It's my own 9/11. It's still in my brain. It might have been one of the most annoying things that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Stevie says she's probably been stressing about it all weekend. Good. Yeah, that's excellent then. That would actually make me feel great. Actually, I was so goddamn annoyed by that. Holy fuck. Jeremy says hashtag never forget. Now, I want to get right into discussing the Fatathon, because all 4 members of the Fatathon have sent along their numbers. So this is the time of the day, time of the week, when we determine who gets the star on the blubber. These 4 souls committed to losing weight. Each of them are unique in their own characteristics. If you had to ask me which one of the 4 do I think has, just based on what I know about the people from my time interacting with them on here, of these 4 people, which one do you think has the least chance of being successful on this? I could absolutely come up with one of the 4 based on just the interactions I've had. More on that in a second. Last week was rough. We had Rebecca down 0.7. And I want to share something with you. Not that 0.7 is bad. I've been doing some reading up on this, and the average healthy weight loss for a person per week is 1 to 2 pounds. That gives you an idea of this is a marathon, not a sprint. So I don't want you to get the idea that you're doing shitty because you've lost about that weight. Stand by. Bruce, come on. Hey. 1 to 2 pounds is great. So if you're under that, I mean, I've given people a hard time, but you're right on if you do that. We just don't want you to be going up. Which last week, Amanda did just that. And this was after the previous week, she got the star on the blubber with a 2.6 pound weight loss. Rebecca last week lost 0.7. Jeremy lost 3.4. Amanda was up. And I got excuses too. Nikki was down a pound and 1.6 pounds. This week, Jeremy, he's down 0.9. Beating himself up over that, I don't think you should. 265.3 down to 264.4. You're going to see a lot more of that as you continue to progress week by week. I think that's fairly normal. You know, when you have those big swings of weight, you know, you're as it drops off, I think those numbers will actually get smaller. Maybe even look into ways you can kind of like change it up. If you feel like you're starting to get into a rut, you can research that and figure that out. I know you can. Anyway, down 0.9 for the week. That puts him at 71 pounds lost for 25 weeks. Some easy math. Let's see. 71 divided by 25. Wait a minute. 71. I put times. So that's 2.84 pounds. That's a fantastic average. Rebecca. 285.9 last week, down to 284. She's down 1.9 for the week and 11 pounds overall. Nikki. Last week, 250.3, down to 248.5. That's a 1.8 pound drop for the week. And she is down a total of 20 and 1/2 pounds in 6 weeks. You've been very consistent. But ladies and gentlemen, the up and down continues. This is good, but we need a lot of weeks in a row of only losses for Amanda. So while it's great that you now have lost weight and you do have the star on the blubber again, 2 out of 3 weeks now, you have the star on the blubber. Last week, though, you went up. I want less up and down from you. All right? Was 300.4, back well under. Now she's dropped to 298.2. That is a 2.2 pound drop. That puts her at minus 18.6 for 7 weeks. She is inconsistent, though. So I don't like that. In fact, I still think of the 4, you are the least, I'm the least comfortable with you. I'm the least comfortable with you because it seems, hold on. Hey, no. You know, I'm just sick and tired of 1 week great, next week long email with excuses and nonsense. All right? See if you can build on this to have consecutive solid weeks. You are set up to potentially make yourself more of a consistent player in Fatathon. Nikki is really turned it on. I mean, she has she's been very consistent. Well done, everybody. You all lost weight. In fact, if I were to add up where we are right now, 71 for Jeremy, Rebecca down 11, Nikki down 20.5, and Amanda down 18.6. Collectively, you 4 have lost 121.1 pounds. Think about that. I was just watching a thing on where does fat go when it leaves, because I believe all it is oxygen, hydrogen, and what does a fat molecule look like? It's hydrogen, oxygen, and I think carbon dioxide. Or comes out as, I don't know. Anyway, you're burning it off. You're doing a great job. Fantastic. For your old pal EZ, we had a heck of a weekend here. Did you ever, like Pooh Bear has been wanting me to begin this process of getting the basement ready. This basement for years now, there's been talk about we got to make this like a viable living space. It's just there. And it's perfectly set up. It just needs some furniture. It needs to be cleaned. And there's a lot of like clutter down there. So we kind of like reasonable amount of pack rat type of starter pack going on. Pack rat starter pack. Darla, I'm watching you. I can see you. Don't lick his ears. So we started this process, and I go, Dinah says again, the magic word, she goes, we need a dumpster. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is like the 4th time we've gotten a damn dumpster. I go, let's make sure we get it all. She goes, yeah. So we went to the farthest reaches of this like storage area where you got to almost army crawl into it in order to get to what is in there. And I'm pulling out shit that I had no idea that we even had. I did not know we had 3 pack-and-plays. You're like, what is a pack-and-play? So when you go to Grandma and Grandpa's, you bring the pack-and-play. It's a playpen. And I go, what the fuck is going on here? She goes, I was saving those. I go, for what? She goes, for our grandkids. I go, okay. I go, isn't that why they have a... I go, nobody's going to want these. These are old. They're probably not even like... isn't there like... You know how like you hear about, there's upgrades to pack and plays. Like the pack and play that we have there, the second the kid gets in it, it's going to collapse and actually decapitate the child. That's like a risk you run. So she goes, yeah, you're right. Tyler says they're probably expired. That's exactly the word she said. She goes, I'm sure they're expired. Because I guess, they upgrade them and they make them safer. Each new model, each new generation, if you will. So, out. By the time it was all said and done, I pulled so much shit out of there. I kind of like got the eye of the tiger. First of all, there was a shelf in this, because you got the furnace and the fucking boiler and all that stuff in there in this room. And then there's these shelves and there's cans of paint. And when we moved in, there was probably 30 cans of paint. And now there's 40 cans of paint. Now, I had always heard that you can't just throw paint away. And I know I can't throw it in the dumpster because Kyle kicked my ass. So I look it up. And if it's oil-based paint, you can take it to a place here in Ottawa County. And you load that shit up in your truck along with like oil that you want to get rid of. And you can dispose of it properly. So you roll into there. They go, hey, how you doing? You roll down your window and you say, yeah, Trump rules. I hate gays. And they go, yeah, you're good. You qualify. Come on in. Dump your shit. And that's what you do here. Fuck DEI. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You got to say all that weirdo shit when you do anything Ottawa County related. But then there's like the latex paint. Nick says, just throw it on your campfire up north. I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Either I transport it up north or I transport it to the MAGA dump. Bob says, does this paint you have contain lead? Well, I don't know. I think some of it does. So I guess maybe I do know. There was one of the lids that I was taking off. Excuse me. Hey, quit. It actually had a sticker on it that says exposure to lead can kill. So I don't know what to do about that one. I haven't gotten that far yet. Anyway, I brought all of these cans of paint into a table that I have in the backyard on the patio. Because as I understand it, latex paint, all you have to do is pop the lid off and let it dry. And then you can just throw it in your garbage. I had no idea that was a thing. Piano Finger Banger says if the paint is newer than like 1978, it does not have lead in it. Okay. So, but it's still very, it's old ass paint. But some of these cans of paint are like nearly full. It's like whatever happened, it's like they maybe had a very little amount of the project to work on, and they popped another can, used a little bit of it, and it's fucking full. But I don't give a shit about that. So now I have 30 cans of paint open in the backyard, drying out. And it might take all summer. I did have enough sense, though, to take the ones that are nearly empty and put some of the paint from the ones that are nearly full into the ones that are nearly empty and kind of spread it out, you know? But the problem with that was I figured out really, really quickly on the very first one that I poured into there, 1/3 of what I was pouring went into the can, and the other 2/3 of what I was pouring went onto this patio table. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm dead. Pooh Bear's going to kick my ass. So I had to rush inside, get something to clean up the fucking paint. It's all on the side, all on the cement underneath the table. I'm like, oh, my God, what am I doing here? Bob says, take him up north and paint the shitter. Throw it on the campfire up north is what I already read from Nick. Hide it at the bottom of the dumpster, same place you hide the oil. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to piss Kyle off. Anyway, that was part of it. So we haul all this fucking paint out. We start pulling shit out of storage that we're going to pitch. And then I find a lot of stuff that I think I can sell. Okay? I have an amplifier. A really good amplifier, actually. A Line 6 amplifier. If any of you play guitar and you want an amplifier, you got first crack at it. I appreciate the gift, but the Nashville crew bought me an acoustic guitar. It has sat there, and I haven't picked it up once. I'm selling the acoustic guitar. Let's see. I am selling, Nick says, Line 6 is toy-grade audio. All right, let me back that up. Starter amp. I am selling my telescope. All right? You can get rid of that. I can get rid of the telescope. This thing's pretty cool. You know, you got this little thing, and it says, go to Saturn. You push a button, and it goes... You look at it, there's Saturn. Yahoo. All right. Tyler says, tell Kyle you'll throw one bucket of paint in a dumpster for every week. He's not marketing on the show. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I don't think he's interested. I think he was just, like, kind of kicking that can down the road. Linda says, if you have any old concert T-shirts, my son will buy them. Jeremy says, selling the telescope, how will you get future celestial excitement? Good question. I think I need a better telescope. This is a beginner telescope. So I am cleaning the shit out of this place. So now I have a lot of the shit that I'm going to pitch out of storage right into the middle of the basement, where the goal is for it not to sit there too long. Get the dumpster, throw the shit out, and away we go. There is something spectacular about just pitching your shit. Which, by the way, going through all that, you just encounter so many things, and it's like, oh, my God, I cannot believe that this is a thing. Like, there was one moment that I found a box, and this was the only thing I was reluctant to sell. And this is what went through my mind. Because if I died tomorrow, the family is going to want some shit to display. You know how, like, you go to a funeral and there's like a table with like various shit from my past that maybe myself or the family was proud of, so that you can walk through and you look at the photo boards and go, oh, God, it's a great family, man. Oh, here's what he accomplished. So that's what went through my head when I came across a box full of awards from various triathlons and half marathons. And so I get these. Now, everybody gets a medal in these things. If you complete an event, you get a medal. It's a participation trophy. But not everybody gets a podium plaque. So I've got a ton of these ones that say so-and-so race, first, men 40 to 44. And I had forgotten all about this shit, and I'm looking, I'm like, God damn, I was a bitch. I was a goddamn machine. First place. I'm like, yes, fuck yes. So, and then I used to keep all of those bibs. You know, you got like the bib with your number on it. And I've got like 100 of those things. And then I'm like, yeah, I should probably keep these too. And then I got out of that area of the basement, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Just throw it away. Throw this shit away. Why do I keep these? I found some pictures from when I was a child on the Wilkerson Wizards soccer team, which I need to scan and share with you. In that picture, this is probably first or second grade. I am standing in the same picture with my pal Jeffrey Lighthouser. You know what? I can actually send this picture. Give me a second. And then we can talk about it now. I can't believe I almost fucked this up. By the way, congrats to runner girl Amy. Runner girl Amy has been running marathons now for quite some time. And just the other day, she traveled to Tokyo to run the Tokyo Marathon. And I saw the pictures on Facebook. I was tipped off to it by our pal Chris here, Man Bun Chris, who loves running himself. And so that is outstanding. Congratulations. Traveling all the way to Tokyo for another marathon. So excellent job. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Wilkerson Wizards. Now I am front row, far right. There is a lot going on in this picture. Let's break it down. First of all, I'm on the end, front row, looking the wrong way. I'm looking one way. This is Jeffrey Lighthouser right here, two to my right. He's looking a different way. I don't know what the fuck the photographer was doing here, because half of us aren't even looking at the camera. This dude with the hair here, he's not looking at the right direction. Only like a handful of us are looking in the right direction. This is what I wrote to my pal Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I've got another Wilkerson Wizards photo. Lots to discuss here. Billy next to Mr. K. So Mr. Kralicki is the head coach here. And this kid next to him is Billy. I wrote, Billy looks like he's going to shoot up the school. I look like I'm into rape. The photographer obviously didn't give a shit about this picture, as we're all looking in different directions. That dude next to you, this is the guy, this is Jeffrey, and the dude next to him is in between him and I. His name is Pia. Has the roundest head ever. The tool in front of Mr. Kralicki was a real piece of work. I think his name was Chris Campbell. I remember this guy, this Chris Campbell, because he was, we didn't know, like I said, this is first or second grade. By the way, this blonde dude, he's a chick now. He's a she now. Do any of you remember the story I told? I've got a lot more to discuss about this picture, and something just popped into my mind. Do any of you remember the story I told for my 7th birthday. Was it 7th or 5th? It was my, God, I can't recall. But anyway, in at about that time, there was a moment in time where I had a birthday party. I think it was 7. I still have pictures of this. And my brother Jim had cleaned up all the dog shit in the backyard in Warren. But somebody let the dog out, and the dog took a dump. Now, the reason why the shit was picked up is because we needed to have it clear because we're going to do backyard games. And, but the dog got out, Queenie, and took a big shit, and we didn't find out about it until I told the story. I've mentioned this on the radio years ago. There was a guy who slipped in the shit, and his name was Peter Batchy. And sure enough, man, the shit went from like the top of his shoe up to his knee, and it completely coated the top or the front shin area of his sock all the way up the skin to the knee. I mean, a huge amount of shit. All of it went from the pile onto his leg, like smeared like goddamn butter on bread. And he's in this picture. This is the guy right here. He's directly above me. So I'll never forget that, because here it is, my fucking birthday. And, you know, God rest her eternal soul, but my mom did some fucked up shit. And one of the things that was fucked up was she said to me, clean it up. She fucking made me clean that motherfucker's leg up. And I just remember gagging and throwing up and having a terrible time doing it. I mean, it was so absurdly, it might have been a more logical decision to have my dad hacksaw his leg off in the garage and throw it away. That's how much shit was on Peter Batchy's fucking leg. God damn, that pisses me off that she made me do that. I mean, because I'll tell you this, as a parent, if my kid had a birthday party and another child had that happen, I'd be like, okay, time out on the field. We'll be right back. And I'd just do whatever it could to make sure that kid was cleaned up. You know, I'd even put him in the bathtub and wash his leg for him. I mean, it's a little fucking kid, you know? Let alone having me do it. What the fuck, Mom? God damn. Well, anyway, that's the dude, Peter Batchy. Do any of you recall this story? I told this story on the radio. I remember telling this story. I'm guessing Aram, who's got a great memory for these things, when he listens to this show, if he isn't here right now, will actually remember this moment. Someone says, are you wearing a ring? It sure looks like it. It looks like I'm wearing a wedding ring there. Okay, so that's Peter. Coach is Mr. Krolicki, and this is his son here. He looks like he's getting ready to sell drugs, you know. This haircut, how about that? His name's Ken Walker. We're still pals on Facebook. Kenny Ingram here. Yeah, I think he's a chick. That's cool. I want to see how he's doing, you know. That's tough business. This goalie, his name is Jeff Kenwood. Kenwood, I don't know. He looked like you know, he played in the Edgar Winter group. He's like, what a crazy blonde head on that kid. He went into like I think he became a Navy SEAL and like murdered people for a living. I don't remember this dude here. This is Eddie Lorenz. Don't really remember. He looks like he's a teeny weeny little fucker. And then Chris Campbell. And then Chris Campbell, we used to bully the shit out of this guy. This is before we knew what gay was. He's the type of guy who did so much gay shit, but we didn't know that he was gay. And he might not have been, but he was outrageously effeminate. And we were like, what the fuck? Why does he? It didn't, like, register with us. We didn't even know what that meant. But I'll never forget, he used to yell, poof, every time he'd kick the ball. Poof. I'm like, what the fuck? Who yells poof? There you go. The 1970 whatever Wilkerson Wizards. Mr. Krolicki, I remember him having a ton of cheddar, like a lot of cash. Like, I don't know what he did for a living, but I remember he used to have cool fucking shit. Like, he had this Suburban, and it had one of the, you push a button, and you'd hear, like, oh my God, it's Mr. Krolicki, fuck yes! So, he'd bring like treats and shit for like after the soccer game, and it was always like great shit. And everybody wanted to be pals with his son, which was Jeffrey there. And then Jeffrey ended up having, like, it was passed on because as we got older, all of a sudden his son starts getting cool shit. Like, we're all driving these piece of shit cars in high school, and he comes rolling in with his badass fucking Jeep, fucking jacked up, tires, lift kit, fucking lights underneath it. We're like, oh my God, he's gonna get so much pussy. Holy shit, we're a bunch of losers. God damn it, why can't our dads be rich? Fucking shit. And, I don't really remember what happened to him. I think he went to Cousino for a little bit, but I think he kind of drifted around. But I think he ended up marrying a lady that I graduated with named Franca. But there you go. That's memory lane with your old pal EZ. Nick says, I hope that poof became his nickname for years. I remember there was one particular time when this Chris Campbell kid, who probably is a chick too now, there was one particular time in Miss Housen's third grade class, his desk was a mess. Like, these are the types of desks that you lift up the top and all your shit's inside of there. And the teacher used to give you shit when your fucking desk was dirty or messy. And then if things went poorly, you get your desk flipped. And so that's how we rolled back then. Teacher's like, fuck you, and just tip your desk over. And his desk was a shithole. So we kind of started to harass him about it, and the teacher was giving him shit. And because everyone was like bullying him, he freaked out and started screaming. And man, did we laugh. This was like, the teacher didn't even care back then. The teacher's like, hey, this is a female teacher. Hey, shut up. And like was on our side. That's how it was. If you sit there and give a kid shit, half the time the teacher would be like, yeah, fuck him up. We're like, yeah, it was incredible. What a time to be alive. But I don't, it seems like nowadays they've gone completely the other direction, and probably for the best. I don't ever want to say that it's a good idea to bully a child. But back then, that was like accepted and encouraged. Ridiculous. Let's see here. Yoda World says it prepares them for the real world. I don't know about that. There you go. That was the fruits of my efforts over the weekend, coming up with my picture from the world-famous Wilkerson Wizards soccer team, which in all of my years of playing soccer, I did not score a goal. Not one! I'll never forget on fucking Mr. Kepler's team. This is years later. A little bit older. Mr. Kepler was the most competitive son of a bitch He'll beat your ass on the sidelines. There was a play where I had the goalie went to get the ball and he missed it, so I had a breakaway. And just about to kick it in, the defenseman dives on the ball and grabs it with his hands, which is a PK. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, I get the PK. Mr. Kepler goes, no, give it to Joe Toko. I'm like, God damn it! I thought it was going to be my one chance at fucking scoring a goal, and he let fucking Joe Toko take the goddamn PK. Family member of a notorious Detroit crime family. Yeah. At least I think. All right. The open and live stream of this show is brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Fantastic place to get your car repaired. Go to ervines.com. That's ervines.com and set up an appointment. They're right in the middle of Grand Rapids. They want to see you. I want you to see them. They're awesome. You got a free loaner car when you go there, so you don't have to worry about anybody carting your ass around. Go to ervines.com. That's ervines.com. It's time to get your taxes done. Mine get done tomorrow. I'll be so glad when this is over. I don't like the moments leading up to it, but I know that a pro is doing my taxes. Tag Accounting online at tagcpa.net. The almighty Troy Ginzer. So he can do your taxes from anywhere in the U.S. Just reach out, 616-301-9516. That's 616-301-9516 to start this process off. You got time. You got to the 15th of April, obviously, but you do want to get on their radar. So call today and say, hey, 616-301-9516. Call today. All right. While I'm at it, TC Paintball, fantastic place for a paintball adventure, online at tcpaintballgr.com. They're awesome, and I cannot wait for you to do that. Book some time today, whether it's for some workplace team building, you're getting together with your pals, neighborhood kids, grandpas and grandmas, moms and dads with their kids. There's youth leagues on Wednesdays. Get the kids out from playing stupid video games all the damn time and enjoy a rousing, good paintball adventure at TC Paintball. Recipe time with your old pal EZ. I saw some video on Reels, which is Facebook's version of TikTok. And you ever see one of those and it's about a 15, 20-second video and they very quickly go through the steps of a recipe and you're like, hold on, that looks great. Well, this one got me. Turns out it's a vegan recipe, but that's not why I made it. By the way, vegan does not mean healthy. Okay? Vegan is more for ethical, less for health. You can have some real bad news food if it's vegan, and this is, in my opinion, vegan comfort food. Now, I did not use vegan Parmesan cheese, so this isn't 100% vegan. But I don't give a shit. I didn't make it because it's vegan. I made it because it looked like it was something that I would like to make, and boy, it didn't let me down. I'll include this recipe in the show notes. What you do is you get 3 red peppers, bell red peppers. Chop them. Put it in a bowl, a big bowl. You get 1 or 2 shallots. Remove the outer skin. Cut them into quarters. Throw it in the bowl. 2 cups of cherry tomatoes. Throw it in the bowl. Add the salt. Add the pepper. Add the oregano. Add the olive oil. Fold it all together so that all the vegetables are covered with that, the olive oil blend. Put it in the oven. Lay it out flat on a cookie sheet. Put it in the oven, 400 degrees, 40, 45 minutes. Okay. I forgot one more thing. Before you put it in the oven, you get an entire bulb of garlic, okay? And you cut just the top off so that all the cloves are exposed. And you put that on top and put drizzle, olive oil on that with some sea salt. 45 minutes in the oven. Comes out, everything's browned, sizzling. You grab that garlic bulb and you just give it a little squeeze, and all of those cloves fall out into your blender. And then everything else you scoop with a spatula or whatever and put that into the blender. Then you take a bunch of basil leaves, fresh basil leaves, throw it into the blender. You add half a cup of vegetable broth into the blender. Blend the shit out of that. Comes out, it's almost like an orange. Leave it there. You make your spaghetti. Al dente. Which, by the way, do not put your oil in after the water is boiling. Oil, salt, water, boiling. Pasta. 10 minutes. Done. Put some olive oil. After you drain it, put it back in the pot. Put the fire on low to medium. And you just kind of shake the pot. I don't know what that does, but Gordon Ramsay said to do it. I'm not sure what the fuck that is. Then I'm going to put in my olive oil into those noodles. Blend them all up so they're good and coated. Then pour all of that shit in the blender into my big pan and slowly heat it up. It starts to bubble. And then you start adding your spaghetti. And you're kind of grabbing it with tongs and picking it up and dropping it down so that it's kind of coating it, Motherfucker. This is intense. Then you plate it, put on some more chopped finely basil from your leaves, fresh, and Parmesan cheese on top of that. Boom. I plated that. I go, here's your lunch. I gave it to Pooh Bear. Oh, boy, look at this. This is fun. You're darn right it is. I gave somebody the NFK. Holy fuck. Life-changing. Yoda World says frozen cube banana blended. That's it. Turns into ice cream just like that. Wow. That sounds fun. Bob says if a recipe calls for garlic, double it. If no garlic in recipe, add a bunch. Jeremy says vegan keto cookie dough. Yeah, we're never going to be, what do you call it? Amanda is never, ever going to be able to live that down. Chris writes in NFK voice, shit, fuck, Eric. You make this? Yep. Did you? There you go. Meanwhile, something else I made a smoothie, and I thought I was in deep shit because I put ice in there. This is a totally different story. All the frozen fruit, all the shit I put into a smoothie that I wanted to make some spinach, flaxseed, ground flaxseed, chia seeds, protein powder, yogurt. Turned it on, and then I'm using my this is the same device I used to make this food. And it actually happened before I made all that delicious food. I turn on the Vitamix. This is like a $300 blender. It's the shit. It never lets me down. And I'm using it, and it's so loud because it has this turbocharged motor that I have to use it on the other side of the house with the door closed in the laundry room because it's so disruptive, this fucking thing. This thing is so stoutly built that you can make soup in it. You put your ingredients in, then you turn it on, and then it gets so hot that after a little while, the soup is hot. And then you pour it out, and you have your soup. It's incredible. I put all this shit in there, and then while I'm standing there, I smell fire, like electrical fire. And I immediately am like, what the fuck? And then it goes, and stops. And I go, oh no! No! Unplug it. Check the GFI. It's not tripped. I go, fucking shit. Let's say it ain't so. I rush downstairs, open up the breaker box. Not one of them's tripped. I go, oh no, fucking, I'm dead. It blew up. It blew up. I can't believe it. This fucking thing's supposed to last forever. So I didn't panic. Well, I kind of panicked. But all the shit's still in there, all that I'm making for the smoothie. I ended up pouring it into my Poverty blender, and the Poverty blender finished the job, but it wasn't nearly as good. It wasn't blended enough. And I looked it up. It turns out that fucking Vitamix, it senses too much work and that it's going to explode, and it shuts it all down. And it says, come back in 45 minutes and it'll work. And it did! Which I did not expect. I didn't know they made that. No wonder why the thing costs so goddamn much. It's indestructible. Because when I looked it up, it said, very, very difficult to damage a Vitamix. I went, maybe it is okay. And it says, if your Vitamix ever smells like electrical fire and shuts down, it's supposed to do that. Well, I don't know if it's supposed to smell like fire, but it will. But it's not going to hurt it. It's going to shut down before it does any damage. I'm like, fuck yes. Ladies and gentlemen, on Mondays, I now head to my workplace radio job staff meeting. That is right now. So we are nearly 1 hour in the books for a March 3rd edition of this podcast. So let's wrap this up, and I'll talk to you as soon as I get done with the staff